Welcome to Stories at the Edge. My name's Jake Powers, and today I have a special guest with me. He is the owner, president of our company. I have Tom Siegmund here with us, and we're just going to have a chat about some things that interest us and give you a little insight on how our business works. So, Tom, thank you for joining us today. I appreciate you taking the time out to come talk with us. So to get started here, let's have us tell you a little bit about yourself. Where'd you grow up? How did you get to be where you are today?
Well, great to be here. I started in the banking business many, many years ago, and in the Chicagoland area, and then wound up coming down to St. Louis in the early '90s, and then bought my first company, which was Sportsman Supply, in 1995. And the person I bought it from worked for us for a couple years and developed the River's Edge product while he was working for us. And fast forward 20 years later, he wanted to exit the business, and we had a great relationship, and he offered it to us, and we acquired it in 2019. And we've had the pleasure of being there from the beginning and actually now owning it for the last 5 years. And we have great hopes to take it to new heights and new directions. So very excited to be part of the business and continue the legacy of the founder and great business person.
Thank you for that. I know I'm happy to be a part of this too. Well, we've had a lot of fun along the way getting to start our podcast here. Here's our first one going. We've been having this in the works for quite a while. I know that me and Kent behind the scenes there has been very excited to get this going. So we know that you are a Disney fan, a big Disney fan. So tell us a little bit about why you like Disney's business model, Walt Disney himself. What is it about them that really draws you in?
Well, I've been a Disney fan since I was a young boy, and we had family in Florida, and we started visiting Disney before the park was built in 1971. And I've been going to Disney ever since then, and I'm a weird person. Some might say that I've been to Walt Disney World probably 60, 70 times in my lifetime. We own a timeshare there at Disney now and have owned it for almost 25 years. My kids are now grown, but they got into the cycle of going down to Florida, seeing their grandmother, and also going to Disney. So we had a great time, and I like it for the enjoyment, but I also like it, as you mentioned, from the business aspects. One of my business heroes is Walt Disney. He had such imagination, and the word is thrown around lightly, but for him, I think it really means something. But he was a genius. He had vision, and things that we take today as commonplace, he invented. I mean, the thought of a theme park didn't exist before Disneyland in 1955. And there's just so many quotes that you can get from Walt Disney. One of my favorites is, "It's fun to sometimes do the impossible." And we use that at all of our companies, but particularly River's Edge. Part of our goal is to have vision to see things that people want and don't know that they need until we design it and come up with it. So one of our best-selling products right now is fish sandals. It took a little vision to say, who needed fish sandals? I'm not sure how we came up with that idea, but it's brilliant. And it ties to, Disney. I mean, if you've gone to a park or you've seen a Disney movie, hopefully you've been wowed by seeing something and saying, that's really cool. I didn't even know about that until I saw it. And that's what we want to do with our products. We want things that people find that have some imagination, some fun in them, and something that they want as part of their life. And Disney's been that personally for me. And as I said, it's just a great business model to follow. Again, what's not to like about a company that wants to be the best that they can be, uh, create enjoyment for people, and be an evergreen brand. I mean, we're now in my family going on third generation of Disney fans, and I hope soon there'll be a fourth generation. Can't wait to take our grandkids to Disney and pass on that legacy to them too. So uh, Disney's just a great place, and ironically, I'm leaving later this afternoon, and guess where I'm heading? I'm heading to Walt Disney World for food and wine this weekend with my wife. So perfect timing to talk about Disney.
Absolutely perfect. And I know you'll have fun down there. So I grew up watching Disney movies all my life too. I would say that probably my favorite one that was ever made was Fantasia. It was just one of the most magical things I had ever seen. The music score was amazing. You got to see all your different characters, different stuff you're not used to seeing. What would you say your favorite Disney movie is of all time?
Uh, Probably The Little Mermaid, only because my daughter, that was her favorite movie. And we watched it many, many times together. And even when I was traveling for business, I had memorized the Little Mermaid book. So when I was on the road, I could actually read it to her without having the book in front of me. And it just was a special bond. And my daughter is now 30 years old, and 2 years ago we went on a father-daughter trip. That was great. That it's still a special bond between us. That we both love Disney, and we both have a great time when we go there. So very exciting. But a quick comment on Fantasia. Again, back to the genius of Walt. That movie bombed when it came out because Walt was so far ahead of everybody else. And today it's considered a classic. And it's cool, again, that you can do something that only gets better as people understand what you've created and truly appreciate it. So, again, uh, River's Edge, I want to keep bringing it back to our company, but River's Edge is 25 years old, and it's better today than it's ever been. So, and that's what we want to keep doing, passing it forward, uh, for future generations.
Walt Disney, he was actually a pretty heavy smoker. He was almost always smoking when he was talking to somebody behind the scenes. He actually requested that they Photoshop cigarettes out of his hand because he didn't want children to see him as a role model smoking and encourage them to do so as well. Uh, you can even see it in the statue outside of Disney itself. He's got his hand out, and you notice his fingers are almost like they're holding a cigarette. Uh, I just thought it was really cool fact. I never realized that up until we started diving into a little bit about Disney. Uh, have you ever? I'm assuming that you've seen this before.
Yeah, no, I was aware that he was a heavy smoker and that he wanted to hide it from his public. Just as you said, he knew it was a bad habit and he didn't want kids to do it. But like a lot of habits, it was hard to break.
Mm-hmm.
And it was one of the things that ultimately led to his death. He had cancer, and again, different generation, and people didn't fully appreciate the challenges that smoking created. But whenever you watch old movies from 30s, 40s, everyone has a cigarette in their hand. It's just kind of hard to believe in today's society. But the statue you're talking is, I believe it's called Partners. It's in the Magic Kingdom at Walt Disney World, and it's Walt on one side holding the hand of Mickey Mouse on the other, and his hand's out, and it does look like they forgot to put the cigarette in there. Obviously, they took it out. So, but most people don't know that when they see it.
Yeah, we didn't have this kind of technology back then.
Well, it's called Disney Magic. So
Yeah,
they don't tell you how they do some of their stuff. So
That's very true. So basically, during World War II, there was always the fear of chemical warfare. And so it was pretty common practice for people to be prepared to put on a gas mask. But children were actually afraid of them in a lot of cases. So they developed this Mickey Mouse gas mask in an effort to make the kids more comfortable with putting it on.
Uh, I don't know. It's a little frightening to see a mask with Mickey Mouse, but I get the point that kids might have used it a little bit more. So, but I'm not sure the mouse ears make you safer or not. What do you think?
No, I definitely wouldn't say the mouse ears would make you safer. Although I personally, I'm into this kind of creepy looking stuff. So if I found one of those and it didn't cost me a fortune, I would totally have one for my collection.
I think you should look seriously to try to find one. Have you gone out
I
to the
haven't tried yet.
marketplace to see what they're out there?
Oh, I'm gonna have to. That's a good point. I might do that at some point tonight.
Now, I don't know if how good an old one would be if it's still usable, but you know what? Maybe if you're in a situation where you need a mask, you'll have it. So,
Yeah.
and then you'll have to tell me what the ears are good for then in that one.
Yeah, I'll see if I can find one. They may or may not be easy to find. You never know.
I would think so.
Yeah, yeah, you're probably looking at a pretty good fortune for one.
I would assume a lot of Disney stuff is collectible, particularly from the parks and things like that. So,
Mhm.
um, the financial geek that I am, I actually collect Disney annual reports, their financial reports, and I have a pretty extensive collection from when Disney first went public. I have all their annual reports for the last, I guess, 70, 80 years.
Oh wow.
So, it's fun to go back and look again if you're a financial guy like me, but to see the financial statements and what was important to Disney at that point in time, and a lot of people might find it boring. I kind of find it exciting to see the officers, the financials, what films they were working on, and the statements they were making to the shareholders. The only thing that I regret, I wish my parents or somebody would have bought some stock in the 40s and 50s, and I don't know what the heck I'd be doing differently. So, but it's a fun little collection that I have.
That is I'm sure that it's interesting to look and see, the different trends that they take in within the years. Like you see them just steadily growing and growing and growing, and it just goes to show that they're doing something right.
Yeah, no, and they bet the company when they started the first park in 1955. So it was I think a 17, $18 million investment, which again, you think in today, why that's a big number. It's not a crazy number, but that was just a ton of money. Disney partnered with ABC, which now they own, and Walt mortgaged his house and everything. And the good news is it worked. It was a fantastic financial success, and they were able to really move the company forward. And the beauty from a financial standpoint of the parks is it provides stable income compared to the more creative films and things. You could have a great year with films, and you can have a bad year with films. Just recently, Disney and all the Marvel films did quite well, and the last couple of years they haven't done as well. And you've got the theme parks to kind of balance that out as you go forward. And I always thought it'd be interesting, if you could ever have a conversation with, the Disney brothers today, what they would think of the empire that's been created from Mickey Mouse. Again, the slogan that Disney used to say was, "It all started with a mouse." And today, they're this multi-international company that owns, so many different brands: ESPN, the movies, the theme parks. They're one of the largest cruise ship lines now. Most people don't even know that. I think they have 8 to 9 cruise ships at this point. Never done a Disney cruise, but maybe someday they'll be on the list. And again, all from this company that started with comic strips in the 20s and 30s, moving on to animated shorts to full-length movies today, and the company that we see. So, uh, again, what can be done when you focus on excellence is amazing. Yeah, I actually knew about this, and it is kind of funny because, in theory, the there'll always be some descendant. So they're basically saying it's forever.
It is an interesting way to say forever.
Yeah. But I hope you guys don't try to negotiate that into your contract. So we're going to pick somebody else who maybe we know won't pass on to the next generation.
That's already too late for me. So I had no idea that would be how they would have came out with the cartoon. Like I wouldn't think that they'd be spending money to set up an entire set for a cartoon. Like that. I just imagine somebody sitting there at a drawing board, and then somebody coloring it in, and then somebody making all of that animation move, and then a studio of voice actors. That's all I ever thought an animation studio was, and that may even be what an animation studio is to most people. But it's, to me, that shows that they go the extra mile. They take that extra investment. If they're confident it's going to work, they're not afraid to throw money at it.
No, it's even till today, in today's environment, that they will go and watch animals or watch scenes. They'll go to a place if they're doing a movie about China, Mulan, for example. They wanted to go to the historic places to get the feel of it. And not only do they do that for their films and things like that, but their rides back to the park where we talked about. So there's a great ride at Animal Kingdom at Walt Disney World called Everest. And it's a roller coaster ride, but they actually went to Tibet, where the setting is for this, and got a feel of everything. And, Jake, to your point, it helps them translate something visual into something magical, because they try to get the details down. And it's expensive, but it's quality. And it's a philosophy that Disney believes in very strongly, and we do too. We want to build quality products. It's just amazing when you do the right thing, it works out. And it really isn't extra expense or anything. It's doing the right thing. It's building quality. And, our products, we want to do the right thing. We want to get input from our customers, from our staff, and we do prototypes. We do all those things before we do the final version. And we have, over time, invested some money and decided what we were working on didn't really work. And we started over again. And I know Disney's done that multiple times where things didn't work out. They shelved it. We talked about the Dolly thing a little bit, why there were creative differences, but it was still the same concept. They didn't think it was ready to be released. And we feel the same way with our stuff. We don't want to put things out there that we wouldn't want, we wouldn't have in our place. In our offices, we have a lot of River's Edge fixtures and things like that because we think they look good. The studio that we're in right now has River's Edge products to give us that feel that we want. So it's kind of nice. Just in closing, we've talked about Disney, and like to talk about our company, River's Edge Products. Again, we believe we created some very interesting things. If you don't know about us, please visit our website, riversedgeproducts.com, and reach out to us. Give us some of your ideas. Give us some feedback. We want to be the best that we can be, and we really want to connect with people who are excited about the outdoors and like whimsical products that we make.
Thank you for joining us, Tom. We appreciate it as always. Folks, thanks for joining us. Make sure you click like, subscribe, come back and see us sometime. We'll have more for you.